That's right. Somewhere in the piles of change you've handled 100 times, a single penny from 1984 with no mint mark could be hiding, waiting to change your life forever. Worth millions? It sounds impossible, but history has shown us time and time again that coins with tiny errors or rare mintings can skyrocket in value. The 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those rare treasures. A coin with a story that feels almost too incredible to be true. Let's step back and look at the mystery behind this coin. In 1984, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies. The Lincoln cent was in its 75th year of circulation. But due to a rare mishap, a few pennies were struck without the mint mark. This small mark, or in this case, its absence, is what makes this coin extraordinary. Most collectors never even dream of finding one. And yet, they exist, quietly slipping through the hands of everyday Americans, completely unnoticed. Imagine holding this penny. It looks just like the others, the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln staring back at you. But there's something different. It's subtle, almost secretive, like a hidden message left for the observant collector. No mint mark. That tiny omission could mean a life-changing fortune. And while it might look ordinary, it carries a story of rarity, of chance, of luck that could turn your ordinary day into the stuff of legends. Now, here's how you spot it. First, examine the obverse, the side with Lincoln. Look carefully below the date. If there's no small D or S mint mark, congratulations. You may have found something remarkable. It's that simple, yet it takes patience, a sharp eye, and the willingness to examine every coin you touch. A mint mark missing in plain sight is what elevates this penny from common to priceless. But rarity alone isn't the full story. Condition matters. The sharper the details, the more it's worth. Look at Lincoln's profile, the lines of his coat, the clarity of the lettering. A penny in pristine condition can fetch millions, while a worn version, though still rare, may sell for less. This is why coin collecting isn't just about luck. It's about diligence, care, and attention to detail. The same traits that have turned ordinary people into millionaires overnight. These coins are hiding in plain sight. In your pocket change, in a drawer, tucked in a jar of old coins your parents left behind. Every stack of pennies has a chance of holding a treasure. That's the suspense that keeps collectors awake at night, searching every coin with hope, imagining that one day, they'll pick up a coin worth more than a house, a car, or a lifetime of savings. Think about the journey of this penny. Born in the mint, destined to be spent in a grocery store to buy a cup of coffee. Yet, because of a tiny oversight, it became something extraordinary. It reminds us that sometimes, the most valuable things are hiding where we least expect them, waiting for someone to notice, to recognize their worth. Now let's reset your focus. Most people skip over pennies without a second glance, assuming they're worthless. But the 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny teaches us a powerful lesson. Ordinary does not equal insignificant. The very coins you toss aside could carry the key to a fortune. The excitement, the suspense, the pure thrill of discovering something so rare is what keeps collectors coming back year after year, hunting for their million-dollar find. And the story doesn't end there. When one of these coins appears at auction, the reaction is always the same: disbelief, awe, and wonder. Millions of dollars exchanged for something that, to the untrained eye, looks like nothing more than a small copper circle. It's a reminder that the value of a coin isn't just in the metal. It's in its story, its rarity, its history, and the chance that you could be the one to uncover it. Look at the date closely. Examine the area below it. Check the edges, the copper sheen, and the detail in Lincoln's profile. Compare it with a regular 1984 penny. Even tiny differences could signal that you found the real treasure. Remember, this coin is rare, but it's not impossible to find. With diligence, patience, and a sharp eye, you could be holding a piece of history in your hand. And imagine the stories you could tell once you find it. You'd be part of a small, elite circle of collectors who have witnessed the extraordinary in the ordinary. A single penny, once dismissed as trivial, suddenly becomes a symbol of luck, timing, and the thrill of discovery. It's more than money. It's legacy, excitement, and proof that amazing things can happen when you least expect them. Every few minutes, remind yourself of the stakes. This isn't just another coin. This is a potential million-dollar treasure hiding among your spare change. Every glance at your pocket change, every sorting through jars of coins, could lead you to the find of a lifetime. And that's the suspense, the thrill, the heartbeat of coin collecting. You're searching not just for a coin, but for a story, a legend, and the possibility of life-changing fortune. Millions of people pass by ordinary coins every day, unaware of their potential. But collectors like you see differently. You know that even a coin that looks mundane could hold millions of dollars within it. That's the magic of rarity, the allure of chance, and the suspense that makes this hobby addictive. The 1984 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is out there. Maybe it's hiding in a shoebox, in a dresser drawer, or tucked inside a piggy bank. Maybe it's right under your nose. And when you find it, it won't just be a penny. It will be a key to a fortune, proof that the extraordinary can hide in the most ordinary places. But what if I told you that among the ordinary, in your pocket or in a jar on the shelf, there could be a coin worth $2.3 million? I'm not exaggerating. I'm talking about a 1975 Lincoln penny, the kind that could change your life forever. The story of this penny begins not in a wealthy collector's hands, but in a small minting error almost nobody noticed. In 1975, most pennies were stamped with a small D or S to show which mint they came from. Philadelphia didn't use a mark, but a tiny batch slipped through. Pennies minted in Philadelphia that somehow carried no mint mark, no identifier at all. To the naked eye, it looked like any other penny. But to a collector in the know, it was the golden ticket. Imagine a coin, small and copper, the weight of a single heartbeat, worth millions. That's what this penny is. Hidden in plain sight. It's a reminder that history often whispers secrets in the smallest objects. The 1975 no-mint mark penny isn't just rare, it's almost miraculous. Fewer than a handful exist in the world, and every time one surfaces, the story makes headlines. People have gone from empty pockets to million-dollar bank accounts overnight, just because someone recognized this tiny piece of history. That here's the thing. Most people walk past it every day without a clue. But knowing how to identify it changes everything. First, you need to look at the date. 1975 is printed clearly on the front, beneath Lincoln's chin. Then, check the mint mark. Normally, there's a tiny letter under the date. D for Denver, S for San Francisco. If there's nothing there at all, that's your first red flag. But it doesn't end there. The condition matters. Look closely at the copper surface. Does it have a deep, rich color? Are the edges crisp? Any heavy scratches or wear can reduce the value drastically. A collector will tell you, even a slight flaw can mean the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and a coin worth $2.3 million. That I remember the first time I saw one. It was in a dusty coin shop, tucked behind a stack of ordinary pennies. The owner didn't realize what he had. I picked it up, and the moment I turned it over, my heart raced. This was no ordinary coin. This was history. This was life-changing. And it could be in your drawer right now. Collectors describe it as a ghost of the minting process, a coin that wasn't meant to survive, a misstep turned into unimaginable fortune. Every line, every contour tells a story. And the thrill isn't just in the money. It's in the hunt, the discovery, the possibility that something ordinary could hold extraordinary power. First, grab a magnifying glass. Examine the date. Examine the mint mark. Nothing there? Good. Then weigh it. Pennies have a very specific weight, 3.11 grams. Too heavy, too light, something's off. Next, inspect the details. Lincoln's profile should be sharp, the lettering clear. Blurriness, double strikes, or imperfections are clues. Some can add value, some can reduce it. This is where patience meets luck. People have stories of finding this coin in the strangest places. One collector discovered it at a garage sale, tucked in a cup of loose change. Another found it in an old box of coins his grandfather left him. And there's a story that will always stick with me. A man found one in a parking lot, right under a discarded soda can. The chances are so rare, but when it happens, the results are life-altering. Millions of dollars in your hands because you recognize the hidden value. It's not just the date and the missing mint mark. There are subtle differences in the strike and the metal composition. This penny was minted in a transitional period, a year when the minting process was slightly off, creating a unique weight and finish. Experts can detect it immediately. It's almost like the coin carries a signature, a proof that it was meant to be sought after. I want you to pause for a moment and imagine holding it. The smooth copper against your fingers, the historical imprint of Lincoln's profile, and the knowledge that this small piece of metal is worth more than most people will earn in a lifetime. $2.3 million for a coin that looks ordinary at first glance. That's the power of knowing, of looking closely, of believing that treasure can be anywhere. Even if you're not a collector, it's impossible not to be drawn into the mystery. This coin reminds us that luck favors the observant, the patient, and the curious. Every time you sift through change, every time you sort coins, every glance could be the moment you stumble upon fortune. That I've talked to people who couldn't believe their eyes. They thought the stories were exaggerated, that a penny couldn't possibly be worth millions. Then, they held one. The thrill, the disbelief, the awe, it's life-changing. And the best part is that the opportunity isn't gone. The 1975 no-mint mark penny is out there, quietly waiting to be discovered. So the next time you reach for a penny, don't just see copper. Look for history. Look for the missing mint mark. Feel for the weight. Inspect the detail. Because one day, you might pick up a coin that changes everything. A coin that isn't just money, but a symbol of possibility. A coin that says the ordinary can be extraordinary. And remember, patience and knowledge are key. Millions of dollars aren't won by luck alone. They're won by those who can spot the difference between what is common and what is priceless. The 1975 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than a coin. It's a testament to curiosity, to diligence, to hope. You reach into your pocket for some change, maybe to grab a soda, maybe to tip the waitress, and among the ordinary coins jingling around, there's one coin that could change your life forever. Not $100, not $1,000. I'm talking $2.4 million. Just one coin. And it's hiding in plain sight. But for a small number of collectors, this isn't a dream, it's reality. And it all begins with the 1970 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks just like the pennies you've been tossing into jars for decades. But there's a secret, a hidden rarity buried in the details, that makes this coin one of the most valuable in the world. The story starts back in 1970. The United States Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents that year, but a tiny fraction were struck under unusual circumstances. They were minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark, but some were made with slight anomalies, tiny errors that went unnoticed by the minting machines. These weren't intentional, they were accidents. But accidents like these are exactly what make coins priceless. Imagine the workers at the Denver Mint that year, going about their routine, unaware that a handful of coins leaving their presses would someday be worth millions. Imagine holding history in the palm of your hand and not knowing it. That's the thrill of coin collecting. The suspense of the ordinary turning extraordinary. The coin itself. The 1970 Lincoln penny isn't just rare because of its year or its mint mark. It's rare because of a specific condition that occurs in only a few coins. The copper-plated zinc coin has to have a perfect strike, deep details, and a mint mark that sits just slightly off the normal position. This isn't something you notice at a glance. You need patience, a keen eye, and a willingness to inspect every coin you come across. Here's how you can identify it. First, look at the mint mark on the reverse side. On genuine 1970 million-dollar pennies, the D isn't just stamped, it's slightly misaligned, often closer to the rim than on ordinary pennies. Then examine Lincoln's bust. The lines in his coat, the shape of his jaw, the fine details around the hairline. These must be sharp, uncirculated, untouched by time. Wear, scratches, even slight discoloration can drop the coin's value from millions to almost nothing. And here's where the suspense deepens. There are literally billions of 1970 pennies out there. Most of them sit in jars, drawers, and pocket change. But only a handful, maybe a few dozen worldwide, carry this rare misalignment and flawless strike. That's what makes it a million-dollar treasure in disguise. Picture a collector, someone just like you, digging through a bag of coins they've carried for decades. And suddenly, their finger brushes against a penny that doesn't look quite right. They lift it out, squint under a light, and realize the impossible. This ordinary copper coin could be worth millions. The shock, the adrenaline, the disbelief, all in a single moment. That moment could define a lifetime. And it's not just the rarity. There's a story behind every coin, a history you can hold in your hand. The 1970 penny witnessed a turbulent America, a time of change and upheaval. It survived decades in circulation, often unnoticed, until it found its way into the hands of a sharp-eyed collector. This coin carries not just value, but history, legacy, and the thrill of discovery. So, how do you increase your chances of finding one? First, never underestimate pocket change. Dimes, nickels, pennies, all of them are potential gold mines if you know what to look for. Second, study the mint mark carefully. Compare it with images of known million-dollar examples. And third, consider investing in a magnifying glass or a coin loop. Details this small require tools, patience, and focus. Some 1970 D pennies have been graded by professionals and verified to fetch over $2 million at auction. That's right, an ordinary coin, often overlooked, transformed into a fortune simply because it was struck perfectly and survived the decades in pristine condition. The thought that such wealth could literally be hiding in your spare change is thrilling, even terrifying, and it's not just about money. It's about the hunt. There's an emotional charge when you finally spot a coin that doesn't match the others, when your heartbeat accelerates and the world narrows to the small copper disc in your hand. You feel a connection to history, to chance, and to something much bigger than yourself. Collecting isn't just a hobby. It's a reminder that magic exists in the most ordinary places. Imagine yourself digging through a bag of coins tonight. Imagine the clink of metal against metal. And then, just for a heartbeat, imagine holding the coin that could change your life. That's the thrill. That's why collectors wake up before dawn, visit estate sales, search through jars, and never give up hope. Now, some final identification tips. The coin must have the D, mint mark from Denver, slightly shifted. The strike must be clear, with no worn-down features on Lincoln's bust or the reverse wheat stalks. Look for strong luster, minimal scratches, and a flawless copper tone. Every detail matters, because in the world of high-value coins, perfection isn't just desired, it's essential. Billions of coins were produced, but only a select few fit this rare category. And among those, only the ones in top condition carry a price tag of $2.4 million. This is what separates a casual collector from someone who could stumble upon a life-changing treasure. The difference is in the details, the patience, and the willingness to look twice, 3 times, or even 100 times. Every coin you examine is a step closer to that one miraculous find. Every glance at a pocket full of change carries the potential for wonder. And for the collector who stays vigilant, who never gives up hope, the 1970 D. Lincoln penny is more than a coin. It's a key to a future that most people can only dream about. Examine every penny, pay attention to the mint mark, inspect the strike, and never dismiss the ordinary. The next coin you pick up might be the one that changes everything. History, chance, fortune, all waiting for the collector brave enough to notice. Yes, a coin, and it's hiding in plain sight. This is the story of the 1964 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that most people toss into jars, yet for the lucky few, it holds an unimaginable fortune. It all begins in 1964. The world was changing rapidly. The Beatles were taking America by storm, space exploration was accelerating, and Lincoln pennies were circulating in the pockets of millions. Most of these pennies were ordinary, forgotten, destined for the cash register, but among them, a tiny fraction were minted differently, an anomaly that today makes them some of the most sought-after coins in the world. The U.S. Mint producing pennies at a staggering rate, trying to keep up with demand. Some coins were struck with a planchet so perfect, so precise, that they were nearly flawless. But a few pennies emerged with no mint mark at all, a subtle omission, almost invisible to the untrained eye. Yet this tiny absence holds the key to millions of dollars. Now, I want you to pause and imagine holding a penny from 1964. The copper surface, the weight, the Lincoln Memorial etched on the back. Everything seems normal, but one small detail makes it extraordinary. There's no mint mark under the date. No D, no S, nothing. Just the date staring back at you. That's it. And that tiny, silent detail can instantly transform a simple penny into a coin worth over $2 million. First, look at the date. It must be 1964. Then, look closely beneath the date. If there's absolutely no mint mark, that's your first clue. Hold it up to the light and inspect the surface. The copper should be rich, unaltered, with the details of Lincoln's profile crisp and sharp. Collectors also check the edges. A smooth, even rim indicates authenticity. And remember, these coins are rare. Most pennies from 1964 have mint marks, so spotting one without a mark is like finding a needle in a haystack. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. This coin has a mysterious backstory. Many of these pennies slipped through the minting process unnoticed. They were distributed in circulation, lost in drawers, jars, and piggy banks. Some were passed down through generations, never realizing the fortune they carried. Imagine a coin tucked away in your grandparents' old change jar, quietly waiting decades for someone to notice it, and the suspense doesn't stop there. The 1964 no-mint mark penny isn't just valuable because of rarity. It's valuable because of history, because of the story it tells. It represents an era of change, a time when America was evolving rapidly, and something as small as a penny could carry a monumental secret. Each one is a connection to the past, a reminder that treasures can exist in the most ordinary places. Now, think about the magnitude of this discovery. Over $2 million in your hand, and it looks like any other penny. That's why every coin collector's heart races when they hear about this coin. And here's the truth. Millions of 1964 pennies exist, but only a tiny fraction are this rare, no-mint mark variety. The odds of finding one might seem impossibly slim, yet they exist. And people have found them in the most unexpected places, at garage sales, in jars of change, even in couch cushions. Imagine the excitement of holding it. The weight of possibility, the sudden awareness that you're holding a piece of history, and a piece of wealth that could change everything. Some collectors have described it as surreal, almost unreal. You know that feeling when you discover something you didn't know you were missing? That's what it feels like to hold this penny, and the details matter. Examine Lincoln's face. The features must be sharp, with nowhere that would indicate extensive circulation. The reverse, the Lincoln Memorial, must show clear lines and a defined structure. Even small imperfections can drastically affect the value, so it's crucial to handle these coins carefully. Every line, every detail, contributes to its million-dollar status. Let's pause for a moment and reflect on the emotional journey here. Think about all the coins you've ever touched, the change you've paid with, the pennies you've ignored. Among them, a hidden fortune may have been waiting for decades. The 1964 no-mint mark Lincoln penny embodies the dream of discovery, the thrill of uncovering something extraordinary in the everyday. And it's not just the financial value that makes it remarkable. It's the story, the mystery, the suspense. Each coin has a tale of how it survived, where it traveled, whose hands it passed through. That's why collectors are captivated. The coin isn't just a coin. It's a journey, a connection to the past, a living artifact that carries both history and wealth. Now, let's reset our focus. If you want to spot this coin, start with your old jars of pennies. Look through pocket change carefully. Pay attention to the date. Examine the mint mark and hold it up to the light. Even if you don't find one immediately, the practice trains your eye to spot rare coins, and every discovery, no matter the value, sharpens your skills as a collector. This coin doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter where you live, how long you've been collecting, or how many coins you've passed over in the past. One day, you could reach into a pocket or an old drawer and find the coin that changes everything. Millions of dollars hidden in plain sight, waiting for the person with patience, attention, and a little bit of luck. Some collectors have even described the first time they saw the 1964 no-mint mark penny as a moment of disbelief. They held it in their hand, looked at the missing mint mark, and could hardly believe the fortune before them. The realization that something so small could be worth $2.5 million is overwhelming. And that's exactly why this coin continues to capture imaginations across the country. And while millions of 1964 pennies were produced, the no-mint mark variety is a rare exception. This scarcity drives its value, and its story continues to grow with every discovery. The idea that you could uncover one today adds a layer of suspense to your daily life. Each penny you encounter could hold the secret you've been dreaming of. So, collectors, dream big. Hold on to the curiosity that drives you to examine coins closely. Appreciate the history, the mystery, and the thrill of discovery. Remember, the 1964 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just metal. It's a key to unimaginable wealth, a symbol of patience, and a reminder that extraordinary things can exist in the most ordinary places. Imagine holding it one day, realizing that every coin you've ignored, every penny in a jar, every forgotten corner of your home could have been hiding a fortune. That's the magic of coin collecting. The endless possibility that the next discovery could be life-changing. $2.5 million, history in your hand. The story of America etched on a tiny copper disc. Every collector dreams of that moment when the ordinary becomes extraordinary. When the mundane act of flipping through change reveals a secret worth millions. This coin embodies that dream, that hope, that life-altering surprise. And it's out there, waiting. It's almost impossible to believe. Yet this exact coin exists, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone like you to find it. The story of the 1979 D. Lincoln penny begins quietly in the bustling mints of the United States. Every year, millions of pennies are struck, stamped with Lincoln's face and the familiar D mint mark from Denver. To the average eye, they all look the same. But deep within this sea of copper and zinc, a mistake slipped through, a variation so rare that collectors would give anything to get their hands on it. This isn't just about metal or history. This is about timing, rarity, and a twist of fate that turned a simple coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure. The 1979 D penny has a misstrike, a subtle flaw that makes it virtually indistinguishable from a regular penny unless you know exactly what to look for. It's like discovering a secret door in your own home that leads to a hidden vault, but to understand how to spot one, you need to look closely. First, check the date and the mint mark. The D for Denver is your starting point. But here's the twist. Some 1979 D pennies show a doubling of the design elements, a phenomenon called a double die. The doubling can appear on Lincoln's profile, the date, or even the word liberty. It's not dramatic at first glance, but once you train your eye, it becomes unmistakable. Every line, every ridge, every tiny detail could hold the key to millions. Collectors who have found these pennies describe it as an emotional roller coaster. One moment, they hold what seems like an ordinary coin, and the next, their heart races as they realize the potential of what's in their hand. You can almost hear the whispers of history through that tiny circle of copper, a story of chance, of human error, and of unimaginable value. Now, let's reset your attention for a moment, because the stakes here are huge. Imagine holding a coin in your hand, and someone says, "That's worth $1 million." Your mind might try to argue. It's just a penny. It's everyday change. But that's the magic. The average person overlooks it every day. And while most people pass it by, someone like you could recognize it instantly. Identify a 1979 D penny worth millions. It's important to have a magnifying glass and a steady hand. Look for the doubled lines on Lincoln's profile, the letters, and the date. The doubling is subtle but unmistakable once you've seen it. It's rare, yes, but the thrill comes from knowing that this coin could have been in circulation for decades, changing hands, jingling in pockets, yet never recognized for the fortune it carries. The story of those who have found it is almost cinematic. One collector recalls finding it at a garage sale, buried in a jar of ordinary pennies. Another discovered it tucked in the corner of an old drawer while cleaning. In every case, the moment of realization is life-changing, disbelief, excitement, and the weight of responsibility all rolled into one. A single penny becomes the difference between ordinary life and unimaginable wealth. Let's take a moment to think about the rarity. Millions of 1979 D pennies were minted, but only a handful exist with the specific error that makes this coin worth $2.6 million. That rarity, combined with the demand among collectors, drives the staggering value. This isn't just a coin. It's a piece of history, a secret treasure, a once-in-a-lifetime find that can turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. Could the coin that changes your life be sitting in your drawer right now? The answer is yes. These pennies were distributed widely, circulated as everyday money. No one knew they were anything special. No one recognized the fortune they held. And that's why every penny you pick up deserves a closer look. As you examine coins, keep your attention sharp. Watch for unusual markings, misalignments, or doubling of the letters and numbers. The smallest detail could mean the difference between a common penny and $1 million discovery. Remember, History has a way of hiding treasures in the most mundane places. A coin on a counter, a jar of change, a forgotten envelope. Stories of the lucky few who found this penny are a reminder that patience and observation are everything. One coin can alter the course of your life, but only if you recognize it when it appears. You don't need to travel to a mint or own rare collections or have insider knowledge. All you need is attention, curiosity, and a willingness to see the extraordinary in the ordinary. Even now, as you think about your loose change at home, there's a spark of possibility. That coin could be hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to reveal its worth. The thrill isn't just in the money. It's in knowing you might be the one to uncover a secret that others missed, to hold history and fortune in the palm of your hand. Next time you reach into your pocket or your change jar, pause. Look closely at the pennies. Study the mint marks. Check for subtle doubling. Train your eyes to spot the difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary. Because the 1979 D. Lincoln penny is more than just copper and zinc. It's a story, a secret, and a fortune waiting to be claimed. Millions of coins exist, but only a precious few carry the magic, the error, the chance that makes them worth a life-changing sum. And among them, the 1979 D. Lincoln penny stands as one of the rarest, most valuable treasures in the coin world today. Most people walk past it every day, completely unaware of the fortune hiding in plain sight. It's a Lincoln penny from 1965, but it's not just any penny. This is a coin that could change your life. Back in 1965, the United States was in the middle of a monumental shift. The coins you and I take for granted today were suddenly different. No mint mark, a small detail many overlook, became the signature of a rare and highly sought-after penny. What makes this penny extraordinary isn't flashy design or precious metal. It's a quirk of history, a perfect storm that left millions of ordinary coins scattered in circulation while only a handful became priceless treasures. Imagine a factory floor in 1965, hundreds of workers striking coins, day after day, millions of pennies leaving the mint. Among them, a small batch slipped through the cracks, coins with no mint mark at all. To most collectors, a missing mark might seem trivial. But in the world of rare coins, that tiny omission transforms a simple penny into a potential million-dollar masterpiece. Now, here's where it gets personal. Think about all the times you've emptied your wallet, searched for spare change, or cleaned out an old jar of coins. What if that mundane task, that routine moment, held the key to unimaginable wealth? Many collectors describe the thrill of discovery as a mix of shock, disbelief, and pure joy. You're not just holding metal, you're holding history, rarity, and a possible life-changing fortune. 1965. Next, examine the mint mark area under the date. A genuine no mint mark coin will have nothing there. No D for Denver, no S for San Francisco. It's a subtle absence, almost invisible unless you're looking closely. Then, pay attention to the overall condition. The more uncirculated the coin looks, the higher its value. Even a single scratch or worn edge can affect its worth. But when you find one in pristine shape, that's when the magic happens. Collectors who have discovered these pennies often describe it as a heartbeat moment. You pick up a coin, glance at it, and then suddenly, everything slows down. That feeling of this is it is electric. And the market for these coins is intense. When one sells, it doesn't just fetch hundreds of thousands, it commands millions. 2, 3, even $2.7 million has been paid for a single coin. Yes, a single penny, worth more than most houses or cars, sitting quietly until someone with the right knowledge notices it. But the story doesn't end there. There's a mystery surrounding how many of these no mint mark 1965 pennies exist. Estimates vary, but every one that survives in good condition is a rarity. And rarity, as every collector knows, is what creates value. The coin isn't just money. It's a bridge to the past, a piece of history frozen in copper, waiting for someone to recognize it. Here's another tip that many overlook. Compare the color of the coin. Older pennies often develop a rich, dark patina. But the no mint mark 1965 pennies can have a copper tone that's surprisingly vibrant. It's subtle, but for those trained eyes, it's a clue. Hold it in the light, examine it carefully. The absence of a mint mark combined with that perfect copper shine is your signal that this coin could be a life changer. And then comes the part that makes your heart race, the emotional connection. This isn't just about money. It's about discovery, about being part of a small group of people who understand the coin's significance. It's about holding a piece of history that others only read about. That rush, the knowledge that you might literally have $1 million coin in your hand, is indescribable. This could be in your possession without you even knowing it. It could be hiding in a dusty drawer, forgotten in an old tin, or jammed between couch cushions. Every coin you touch deserves a second glance because history has a way of hiding in the most ordinary places. Collectors who have found these pennies often say the search is addictive. They check rolls of pennies at banks, sift through old collections, and study the tiniest details. And when they finally spot that no-mint mark 1965 penny, it's a mixture of shock, disbelief, and triumph. It's the kind of moment you remember forever, the kind of story you tell over and over, because it changes everything. So, take a moment to imagine it. You're sorting through coins, casually flipping one over, and then, there it is. A 1965 penny, no mint mark, perfect copper, the kind of coin that makes collectors' hearts pound. Suddenly, you realize you're holding something rare, something extraordinary, something that could be worth millions, and that's the real lesson here. The world of coin collecting isn't just about numbers or metal. It's about paying attention, learning the signs, and never underestimating the power of history hidden in plain sight. That 1965 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than a coin. It's a ticket to a story, to a legacy, to a possible fortune. The next time you're digging through old change or exploring a forgotten jar of coins, remember this. That ordinary penny could be the one that collectors dream about, the one that turns mundane moments into life-changing discoveries. It's rare, it's beautiful, and it's waiting.